So this is the the InstantKB homepage. This is what end users typically see when they would come to your support site. Obviously, this can be customized, and branded to fit in maybe with your existing website design, or even just add your logo and maybe some links back to your main website.
In the beginning, I think it'll just be our team accessing the system, but this has good potential to make a self-serve model for our end users for sure.
Yeah, the nice thing with our products as well is you can have different areas. So you could have like a public-facing knowledge base as well as a private internal-only knowledge base.
Good.
We have role-based security throughout, and you can control. Well, we have the role-based security at 3 different levels. I don't want to get too in depth, but these tabs I'm hovering along over the top here, these can all be customized, and you can even add your own custom tabs. So these are the 4 tabs that our software comes with by default. We have the the knowledge base tab, which is that's really where you would publish your general articles. You can organize those articles into categories. If we go into this knowledge base tab, you'll see by default we have the categories on the left here. So these could maybe be each of the products you want to support, and then you could have any number of child categories in here. This is just a way for users, if they know what they're looking for, they can maybe come in and drill down to a specific category. Whenever they click a category, we display the articles from that category on the right. And this is just one view. We do support a more mobile-friendly view as well, where it will give you, rather than displaying this tree on the left, it will give you a 2-column layout with your your categories, and then the last 5 articles that were modified in each of those categories shown below, similar to our home page. If I go back to the home page here, you'll see we have this section here called Instant Forum, and then in here we have several different categories. We have our Getting Started category, we have our Common Questions category, and all of these can be customized. This is just a way for you to maybe feature your most prominent categories right up front on the home page, and you can again customize these. You can create any number of sections you want. So you could maybe create a section called Getting Started, and then have a category for each product, and then you could maybe have a section called Help and Support, and then again a category for each product. You could really lay this out however you see fit. But
so are these individual entries that you set up within these this home dashboard part, or how do these say under Getting Started, how do those items get in there?
They just belong to this Getting Started category. So if we go into the
do you have to tag it as that when you create the article? I guess I'm thinking, when you create an article, how does it get into these categories?
I'll show you that straight away. If we go,
okay.
Well, let's go into, say, an article we already have here. This is a adding a we use cookies notification to our products. Now, because we're logged in here, we have a couple of extra controls that typically wouldn't be available to end users. We have this pencil in the bottom left here, as well as an edit link in the panel on the right. These let you just quickly jump into what we call the agent control panel. That's where you would create all your content, and you would manage your categories. If you were using the help desk, you would respond to support tickets there. But if we click this little pencil, you'll see we get a few options. We can create a new article, or we can edit the existing article we're looking at, and this will appear anywhere on the front end. So if we go into our knowledge base tab here, so when you're in the root of a tab, we show you the latest and the popular articles from, say, this knowledge base tab, and obviously as you drill down, we then show you the articles within those particular categories. But if I click the little pencil sorry, that's something else. If I click the little pencil again, now because we're not looking at, looking at an article here, we don't have the option to edit the article, but we do have the option to, create a new article. And so I'll click that, and that'll take us straight into the agent control panel. Now, by default, the form used to create articles contains, a number of different fields that you may not need. For example, we have things like, assigned to, we have, reported by. A lot of these fields may not be needed. So all of the data entry forms within our software can be customized. You can hide any of these fields. You can add your own custom fields, and you can display, those custom fields on the right when you're viewing an article as well. But yeah, this is where you would essentially, create an article. You would pop in the title for the article here. Again, workflow here is something you may or may not use. It's really helpful, if you have a content approval process you want to try and enforce. Maybe an article has to go through a few different, people, maybe a manager, before it's published to the web. Then you can enforce workflows to basically automate that process, and you can set that all up through the, through the admin control panel. Again, that's not necessary though. I mean, if it's just a couple of people using the knowledge base, and you can just shout over a desk, then yeah, workflows may not be, may not be too helpful. So yeah, you would pop in a title. You can obviously enter your article here, and we support templates as well to help you get up and running quickly. So you can create, a consistent template that you maybe use as a basis for all new articles. We provide free, simple templates out the box just to demonstrate how it works, but you can upload your own templates. We've often worked with customers to create a template for them. And the template...
Are you able to just take a copied image and paste it right in there?
Yeah, you can. There's a few caveats to that. For example, if you copy and paste the full, if you do a Control A on a Word document and paste that straight into the editor, it's not going to pull in the images from that Word document. But if you select each image individually and paste that in, it will pop in the base 64 encoded version of that image, basically, so you don't have to, save the image locally, upload to the web server, then go to insert image. Well, where you can,
yeah.
You can do
that's our concern. We're going to do that.
And we
SharePoint makes you do that. It's a real pain.
Oh no, yeah. We addressed that a few releases back. There was something introduced in the HTML5 specification called data URIs, which let you basically include a base 64, representation of the image within the markup. So it just prevents you having to upload the image to the server, and that's how we get around that. For example, I use a program called Snagit on this computer. If I take a screen grab of, say, InstantKB here, I'm not sure how this is keeping up. But, well, actually, let's take a screen grab of, let's see if I've got any old screen grabs here that are maybe not. So this is our forum product. This was a theme we were working on for one of our customers with the forum product. So if I just copy this entire image, go back to our knowledge base, and we're on the add article page here. We can just paste that straight into the editor. Now you'll notice this is a very large image, and obviously mobile and tablet support is a necessity nowadays. So we provide a few CSS classes that you can apply to things like images to make them responsive. So the image will adapt if you come in on a tiny phone that maybe can't fit this entire image on the screen, and that's just so you don't have to pan around too much on smaller screens. But you'll see I've pasted that image in there. I mean, if we add a bit of space in between that image, and then we'll call this this is an example article, header 1, some text here, we would obviously fill out our article here, and what we try and encourage to style your articles, we try and encourage that you keep the articles, semantically clean. So headings should be H1 tags or H2 tags, depending on the size you want, but they should be, H tags. You should ideally try and stay away from inline styles. We provide a way for you to apply CSS into articles that you can customize through an XML file. We already have a number of pre-built styles, so if we click, you'll see here we have an apply CSS drop-down list. If I click this, you'll see we have a number of CSS classes already that let you, create or highlight, say, a paragraph of text and make it, indicate it's an important paragraph with a little icon and maybe a red background. So we have a number of CSS classes out the box that we see customers use and we use ourselves. We have buttons, so if you wanted to make a link look like a button, you could do that quite easily just through using these. But I wouldn't suggest using CSS to style things like headers. This is really only for, maybe you want to, as I say, draw attention to a specific paragraph, and you can, have that paragraph in a nice red box. But if I just carry on this example, the reason we suggest using semantically clean HTML, so if I wanted to make this a header, I would just select H2 there, or H1 depending on the size. Let's copy the title, we did that there. So this is an example. So what I will do as well is while I'm here, I'll select the image and I'll apply our KB responsive image CSS. And so this now, say we've created the article now, these are the extra fields we can fill out to, before we can save the article. This is where we would place it into that category that you saw on the home page. So you'll see you can select a primary category as well as secondary categories. So an article can be in one or more categories. For now, we'll just select, a primary category. Maybe we'll pop this into the, into this getting started section that we saw on the home page. Now, again, a lot of the...
You can,
sorry?
You can change those later, right? Can you change those after, as if you change?
Yeah, absolutely. You can edit the article anytime and change any of these values. You can update the form at any time. You can come in and customize this form later. Once you become more and more familiar with the software, or after you say created 10 articles and you realize, this field's getting frustrating because I don't use it, but every time I try and save an article, it's asking me to complete this field. You can go in and customize, the form at any time, and you won't lose any of the values, associated with existing articles. But yeah, you
about the category?
Sorry?
Where do you change those categories? Where do you add or edit or manage the categories?
I will show you that in a second. So if we just, if we save this article for now, so you'll see here at the very bottom of the article, these fields here, these are all custom fields. These are not fields you would see, in our software by default. So you can see we have a multiple select, product drop-down list here. We have a single, well, no, sorry, that is a built-in field. This is what this access type allows you to keep articles private while you're working on them within the, the agent control panel. Only once that's set to public would it be visible to the roles that have been associated with this article. So for now, we need to provide one extra field, which is the type. And again, all of these types, all of the statuses, all of the priorities, all of this can be customized to, how you work, or hidden, if you don't want to use status, priority, because sometimes, it's a bit too much for a lot of people's needs. But we'll save this article now. So now we've saved the article, you'll notice we get this toolbar on the top, which lets us, add tags to the article. So we can click I'm not sure if it's caught up yet. But we can add tags to an article, so that's where you would tag it with particular keywords. And to avoid inconsistent tags, we have autocomplete on the tags. So as you start typing a tag, maybe one of your tags is installation, we'll actually suggest existing tags. And you can use Google Suggest here to suggest SEO friendly tags if you just wanted to use the tagging for SEO purposes, just so those keywords appear on that page. Obviously we wouldn't suggest keyword stuff in. The content has to be relevant and accurate, but it can come in handy, that, because Google does still obviously use keywords at the end of the day. But I won't tag that for now, but you can add as many tags as you want to an article. You can relate.
Do you separate them by a space, or you have to do one at a time?
Just one at a time. So yeah, I'll show you. If we type in, let's use our installation example again. If we select installation, add tag, you'll see a new text box comes up here. And then we can even suggest, based on this installation tag here, again, we can click to find, other similar. So maybe we wanted to tag this.
Delete it.
Yeah, you can delete it. So yeah, you just hit delete there and tag go. But yeah, you can
kind of see the reason why you have separate, you add it individually as opposed to a group of tags, like a list of emails or whatever, right? Because by doing it individually, it allows you to delete them individually too. So
yeah, and it allows us to provide you with that autocomplete as well. So yeah, it's nice doing them individually. We do like the way Facebook does their tagging. So you start typing in a tag, you hit comma maybe, and then it becomes like a little element in the text box that you can't click on again. You can maybe click the little cross to delete the tag. And so we may look at something like that in the future, but it's really just a UI tweak. We're happy with the way tagging works at the moment. But yeah, another feature you might find particularly helpful with articles is related links. Here, sorry, I'll go through them one by one. I won't jump ahead. I'll go into the categories as well and how you create them in a second. But here is where you can, attach files to articles. So maybe it's a supporting script, or maybe a supporting PDF. You can attach that to the article. It's completely optional, and you can edit the list of allowed file types as well. Obviously, this is only available to agents, people who you've explicitly placed into the support agent role can access the agent control panel to upload these files. But yeah, those would appear below the article. When you're viewing the article on the front end, those would show just below the article. I'll maybe attach a file just to this article here, just so you can see how it works for now. So I will attach that there. So you can see it's just added that image there, and you can obviously delete attachments. You can see how many times they were viewed. You can see the file size, the type of file. But yeah, you can relate.
Is there a size limit?
Sorry?
Is there a size limit on the how much you can attach?
There is, yeah. We have per upload limits and global limits as well. So we have a set of staff permissions that let you say, this staff department can only upload, say, 1 gigabyte or 2 gigabyte in total, or it can only upload 5 megabyte at a time. The default is to allow up to 30 megabytes, and I think it's 1 gigabyte, but you can put them to obviously unlimited. There are some things, if you're uploading large files, there are typically some tweaks you would need to make to the server itself just to reduce, just to increase things like request timeouts, so uploads don't time out. That's a common issue with uploading large files, and we're looking to, address that with asynchronous file uploading. But yeah, we introduced that a couple of releases ago and removed it because it just wasn't working very well. But yeah, we're going to do that ourselves, and we're going to do that properly at some point. But we have Sorry, feel free to stop me at any point if you have questions on anything. I'm you know.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Okay, so
We've been doing that.
related links. This lets you search for other content within the knowledge base that may be related to this content, and you can just one-click relate. So again, I always use this installation search example, but you'll see we just typed in a keyword there, and it's suggesting content from all the different tabs we have. So our knowledge base tab, our downloads tab, even if we had a private internal only knowledge base tab, you can relate content from that tab to this article. If this article is public and visible to everyone else, your private content still won't be visible because the role-based security applies everywhere. So on the tabs, on the categories, on the articles, on the related articles. So a user would only ever see what they've been granted access to through our user roles. But yeah, we can one-click. So if we wanted to relate, say, testing your instant forum installation, this is, if we click that, that's now related. That's another article that exists in the knowledge base. That's now related to this article. If that title ever changes in the future, or that article ever gets moved around in the future, those links will continue to work. They're not going to become broken. If you change the title suddenly. The reason I mention the title is you'll notice we use the article titles in the URL itself, and we do that obviously for SEO purposes. Again, I'm not sure if SEO is going to be important for you because it's an internal knowledge base that's going to be used by a small team. But yeah, if you have a public facing knowledge base, obviously that can be very helpful because the first way users will try and figure a problem out nowadays is they probably won't even visit your website. They'll probably just Google, say an error message that they're running into. So we try to make sure our software is very Google friendly. If you have an article with a very similar, title or the error message in the article, it will likely appear on the very top of Google. It obviously depends, on what keywords you're using, but usually the narrow terms would make sure our articles appear. So as well as relating content from within the knowledge base, you can add external related links as well. So maybe you wanted to link off to a webinar or a white paper somewhere else on the web, and you could do that here through the external links. Trackbacks is just a way to see what articles link into this article. Related links is just helpful because once a user reaches the end of the article, if that article's maybe not answered their problem, you can link them off to other articles that may help them, still, figure the problem out. So this third option here is our version control or revision history. This lets you see the changes made to articles between each version. So every time you save an article, we create a version of that article. You'll see we've only we're on version 1 at the moment here, version 1.0. But as we make changes to this article, like say this is some new text. If we go down to the bottom and save this again, that will automatically create a new version. So now this article will be version 1.1, and you'll see that. You'll see at the top here it says 1.1. Then if we click that, we can see we can see our very first article here that we created, and the new one we've just saved, 1.1. We can compare two different versions. So if we tick these two versions here and hit compare, we see a diffgram of what lines were added, what was changed, what was deleted, who made the change, when the change was made. You can roll back to a previous version. So maybe we wanted to roll back to version 1, and we can do that here. We can preview a previous version as well. So yeah, you would just use it here to preview a previous version, and then let me just move the GoToMeeting bar there. So to view this content, once we've created it, we've fleshed it out with tags, we've maybe added any file attachments, we can click this preview link here, which will take us to the article in the front end. So this would be what a regular end user would see.
Right.
So you can see we've got our title at the top. We've got our two headings, and you'll see we get the little, these little link icons next to each heading. So this is why I'm suggesting using semantically correct HTML, because we can decorate your HTML with auto links to certain areas of your article, and we can even, based on your headings, provide an automated table of contents for the article as well. So it's one of the reasons we suggest trying to use headings to separate the different areas of your article.
Are all articles one page, or can they be pageable if they're quite long? Like say we have a procedure that we want to put in there.
They are all one page. It sounds like you would maybe want to use our troubleshooter for that. That works like more like a wizard.
Step by step.
Yeah, exactly. It's more like a wizard. So you create an article, and then at the end of that article, you can ask the user a series of questions, and then based on the answer they select, it will take them to another article that you can create, and that can go on, indefinitely until you've brought them to a solution, or until they need to call support. But yeah, the troubleshooter is similar to the knowledge base tab, but you can have those series of questions, and we separated that because we found the troubleshooter is really only used mainly for procedures, as you say. Maybe someone phones in to support and you want to standardize the way support reps work through issues, then yeah, the troubleshooter is a good way to do that. But if I just jump back into this article, if we just edit the article again, we obviously have all of the rich text editing features. So you can add tables. We have some nice we have a spell checker obviously built into the editor itself, so you can hit F7 and that will do a spell check. You can add tables as well, so you can see here, and if we right click, we get a contextual menu as well. So if we right click on a table, we'll get options to delete cells, edit table properties. If we right click on an image, we'll get options to edit image properties, create an image map, so you can even have part of the images link off to other articles in the knowledge base. We also, as well as pasting images directly into the editor here, if the image does exist as a file on your hard drive, you can obviously browse for images. So if we click this little image manager here, you'll see we don't have any images in here at the moment, but we can click upload. We can upload up to 3 different images. So if I select maybe a second image here, let's select this one here. It's quite a large image, but upload, you can see that image is now there. Every image you upload will be added to this view here, so over time you can see all the images that you've uploaded. You can organize them into folders. So this is more like a media library, but yeah, if we just double click that image, there we go, we can see that's added the image in just below our existing image. We can obviously add some text there. Again, if we apply our responsive CSS class just to make sure that image appears correctly, and let's just get rid of any extra space at the end. So yeah, there's a lot more to this. You can hit F11 to go full screen mode with the editor. So if I'm not sure how well my screen's keeping up, but if I hit F11 here,
Seems to be okay.
okay, yeah. So I've just hit F11. You can see the editor's gone full screen here, so it's got rid of all of our UI. We could edit the article without any of our interface there. And you can add links, you can add CSS elements to links. You can yeah, you can do what you'd expect to do with any typical Word style program. We've done a lot of work over the years to try and ensure, copying and pasting from Word works well. That's one common scenario we see in a lot of our customers. They'll have an existing collection of Word documents. They want to just paste into into our knowledge base. So we try to make sure that copying and pasting from Word works okay. We don't have any kind of multi-import at the moment, but that's something we hope to support in the future. But yeah, if I save this article, let me show you how you edit categories. So, I mean, I know I'm jumping around a lot, and I don't know how familiar you are with our product, but you'll notice on the left here we have all these different icons, and they may look a little overwhelming here. You wouldn't have this many icons. These are all custom tabs that we've created. So for every tab that you create, so maybe you wanted to create an internal knowledge base tab that was only visible to, say, your employee's role, you would create that as a tab, and then any tabs you create where you can edit content or you can respond to issues, they show up in the staff control panel here on the left. So you can see when you hover over the tabs, these have different names. So we've created a custom tab here called Opportunities. We have a custom tab called Features, and these are issue tracking tabs. But that's why you see lots of different icons here. You would typically only see 4 different icons here, which would that would be knowledge base, troubleshooter, downloads, and tickets. Again, if any of these are not relevant, like the tickets, you can completely hide the ticket management features from the agent control panel, and you do that through the admin control panel through staff permissions. So our software, we've tried to make sure it is as flexible as possible. You can control what's visible to certain support agents or even end users. But yeah, if we hover over our knowledge base tab and then we click that, you'll see here's how we would manage all the articles in this tab. We have a link to create a new article here as well. So maybe we're not on the front end, we're just in the agent control panel. We want to create a new article, and you would do this for any of the tabs. So if you have maybe an internal knowledge base tab, that would appear on the left. You would click it and it would be new article, similar for public facing tabs. If we go to manage categories, this is what you was asking about previously, you'll see the categories, we just displayed them as a tree view, and we've tried to make it super easy for you to create and manage and build up these categories. So straight away out the box, you can just right click on, say, a root node here, and you can just add a category straight in here. So we could go my new category. That's all we need to do. That's now saved. We can place articles into that category. We could add a child category. So we could go my new child category, for example. And again, you can just keep on, right-clicking, add in. You can sort my new child category 2. Say we wanted to move 2 above, the first one, we would just move up, and then that saves that. There's no, full page refresh. You just build up the tree, and it's all saved, just through Ajax, essentially, every time you make a change here. Now, that's great for quickly building up your category structure, but maybe you want a little bit more control. Maybe you want to give certain categories a little icon, maybe provide a description, which is just, shown at the top of that category on the front end. So you can right-click any of these categories, like my new category here, and you can just click on Edit Category. And this will take us to the, the Edit Category page. We can select a custom icon for this category. So maybe you had a category for each product, and you had a little product icon you wanted to use for that category. You can do that through this. So if we click Select Icon here, you'll see we provide a number of different icons out of the box. And if you don't select an icon, we just use a little file icon. But you can search for icons as well. So maybe, I know we have a star icon, so I've just typed in star. And obviously it narrows down the results. That just saves you having to go through this huge list of icons we have here that you can choose from. So if we maybe select our star category, our star icon. We can provide a description here, and this description can contain HTML as well. This appears on the front end. Whenever you click into the category, this would appear, at the top of that category. So you could have this section contains information and articles on how to get started with product X. If you need further assistance, please take a look at these links or call support on, you can add any text you want there, or no text at all. You can leave that empty if you wish. Here's where you can control which user groups have access to this category. So if you're not too worried about who has access, by default it will just allow everyone to see this category. But you could say, only allow support agents or administrators. You can create your own groups and place users into those groups. So you could create a group maybe for, each product team, so only their documentation would be visible to them, and they couldn't access, documentation from other product teams maybe. But yeah, you'll see you can propagate, the roles you select here to all child categories and then to all articles within those categories and child categories. But for now, we'll just save, the category. So you'll see my new category here as this little star icon that we just gave it. Now, if we go back into our article that we created a moment ago, we go to our knowledge base icon here, and then we go to manage articles. Here are all the articles that we have in our knowledge base at the moment. So this is just a quick way to see a list of every article. And you can hover over an article here to get an idea of when it was created, what category it's in, who it's assigned to, if that information is available. We have different views as well, so you can see, articles that are coming up for review. So you can set review dates and expiry dates on articles, and our system will actually automatically expire them as well. So it will set them to private as that expiry date, approaches or is met. Sorry. That's one way. We have some customers who work in, the financial sector. They deal with tax, and they have documentation where it's only valid for a year. After a year, it needs to come offline. So they find the expired articles useful for that. Maybe it's time-sensitive information; it just needs to disappear. It's probably not so useful for yourself. But yeah, you can filter and see which articles have had user comments, which articles have been voted on by users.
Expired articles, that we can set expiry dates on articles too?
You can, yes, yeah. And if
that kind of leads into another question I kind of had, was how do we keep these this database kind of clean? Like, I noticed there was a little stat there where it says how many times the article's been accessed, but can we know how many times it's been accessed over a certain period of time? Because it'd be great to find out which articles aren't being used at all.
Yeah.
And maybe review them to see why.
You can. So we have a standard set of searches here where you can sort. You can click any of these column headers here. And so if we added the views column, so that's another thing that I've not mentioned. This view here can be completely customized as well. So I can see here we don't have the views column, but maybe we wanted to. This is only basic. I'll show you the reports, which will help us more with that. But maybe we wanted to, show articles that have not been viewed very much. So we can just add the views column here to our existing view. So we'll just save that. And you can order these columns any way you wish. You can add as many columns as you want. You can add custom columns. So you'll see on the very far right here now, we have our views. Hopefully that's caught up. But we've added that as a new column now into this view. So because that's there, we can now sort by that as well. So we can just click the header, and we can see, you know, all of these articles here have only had one view. So this isn't exactly a report, but it's just a way to see, you know, which are your most popular articles. So you could you know, click and sort by which one has had the most views. So we can see in this particular instance, it's this one here, add in Google AdSense. This one's had 175,000 views. So yeah, you can see just through, you know, that views which ones are being used, but that's aggregate, you know, that's all over all time. If you wanted time-based reports, maybe you wanted to see, you know, which articles were accessed the most in Q1, Q2. You can do all of that through the reports. So if we just hover over our knowledge base tab there, we'll see we have this reports link at the bottom. So this is a demo, so obviously we're not really seeing much real data here. This is a local development database that we use and we do a lot of testing against. So it really doesn't show real world data, but hopefully it'll give you a sense of what you know we provide. So we have like this time-based report here which shows you every view, and you can filter this entire report here, you know, by a particular date range. So you'll see here's where you would select, say, the start date. What we show you in this main graph here is just usage, you know, article views for the certain days, basically. And you can see that broken down by, you know, whether they were a member, whether they were, you know, not logged in, whether it was a search engine that was indexing the site. If we scroll down further, we have this user engagement chart, which obviously we don't have any data here at the moment, but that shows you, you know, if any new user comments have been added in this time period, or any new votes for articles have been added, they would appear in this, you know, report here. This one on the right is just really a breakdown of, you know, traffic sources. So whether it's, you know, a logged in user, whether it's anonymous. But yeah, here's really the, you know, here are the top articles. So you can see in the time frame we have selected here, which is from the 21st of the 3rd to, so it's about 2 weeks. So yeah, we've got a 2 week by default, but obviously you can, you know, customize this time frame. If we go back even further, I'm pretty sure we do have some older data in here. If we click OK, we should see, you know, a more complete chart, and we can even see now we've got a bit of, you know, user engagement information. But obviously we've selected like 1 month here, you know, 1 month of usage against the demo site here. So you would see hopefully, you know, better results. But we can see in this 1 month, you know, our most popular article was this adding a we use cookies notification. We can see that's had, you know, 534 views during the time frame we've selected. We can see our top categories. So that is basically, you know, combines all the views for all the articles, and then provides you with, you know, top categories based on which articles, you know, are being viewed the most. So that, I mean, that's like the basics of the knowledge-based report. It's really just showing you usage.
Yeah, that's exactly what we need to see, is because, you know, we'd like to, you know, make the repository as valuable as possible. So that kind of means, you know, getting rid of articles that are old or getting rid of articles that are not used, so that their search results come up with better results.
Yeah. And stale content is something where, you know, we're improving upon in the next update. You know, we don't at the moment, for example, have like a broken link checker. You know, we used to have that in a really old version of the knowledge base, and we'd like to bring that back in. And just a way to show you, at the moment, if your user leaves a comment for an article, we do have like a global comment view where you can see all the new comments that were posted, whether they're public or private, and you can, quite easily approve them. But yeah, we don't have a way at the moment. If a user leaves some feedback on an article, not a comment, we have the public commenting system for articles, which is shown. Those are public comments. Those are public comments that can be published below an article. We have the voting system that lets you, select 1 through 5, or select the 3 little smiley faces, or select a thumbs up or thumbs down. You can customize which rating style you want to use. Yeah, we don't have a way at the moment. Say, for example, a customer rates an article, 1, and says, you have a spelling mistake in this article, or this information is incorrect. We don't have a way at the moment for you to say, we've actioned and addressed this user feedback. So yeah, we're focusing on things like that, just, trying to avoid content becoming stale. So surfacing content that's maybe not been modified for an awfully long time. Maybe it's not been touched for 3 years. And you can do that now. You can go to manage article, add the last modified column, which is already there, I believe. But yeah, before I jump back there, I just wanted to show you this as well. This is similar to our knowledge base report, but this is the search report. So you can see, very similar, you can see, an activity here, every search performed, whether it was a logged in member or an anonymous user. And you can see every individual search here that was ever performed with a date stamp next to it, as well as how many results were returned for that search. You can see the top searches here. So these are the keywords we see users searching for the most. And you can see how many times that keyword was searched for, or that search query was searched for, and how many results were returned. Here's our topic suggestions. So yeah, you can see the most popular search query here was, how do I calculate my letting fees? And we can see that's been searched for 15 times, but it only produces 2 results. Now, those 2 results may be all you need. Those 2 articles may answer the question. But, that's just really a way for you to see, oh, we've got a lot of customers searching on letting fees, or searching for this, product X. We maybe need to create some content to support that. Yeah, and then you can see basically search by user as well. So if the user's logged in, we can show you who's using the knowledge base the most. And yeah, if you do require users to log in before they access the knowledge base as well, you can even see what individual users have been reading and see a breakdown of their activity. For example, if I find my account, so we're in the admin control panel here at the moment looking at the search report, but we have these, this bar that runs along the top of both the admin and the agent control panel. This lets you quickly add new articles, add new issues or cases, as well as find contacts. So that might be users who've created an account on your website, or users who've contacted you through one of the supported channels that we support. So maybe email or Facebook. Whenever someone, I know you're not going to be using this, but whenever they send you an issue, we pick that up from email or Facebook. We create a contact in the system.
How about Active Directory? Do you have any integration with that?
We do, yeah. We offer an Active Directory module. It is a separate purchase.
Okay.
We don't have that for our 2016 version at the moment. I should make that clear. We're on the verge of releasing InstantKB 2016, which is what you're looking at here. It's, I'm not sure if you're using our online demo, or maybe you've downloaded 2015 to test locally, but you may notice some differences, and that's because this is the very latest version. But yeah, you would obviously get this version because it's going to be released in, probably before the end of this week. This will go final. We're in RC3 at the moment, so it's been in release candidate for a little while now. But yeah, I mean, this is a user profile within the agent control panel. Unfortunately, this won't be too useful because you're not using the help desk side of things. But if you do require users to log in and create an account before they can access maybe all of the knowledge base or certain areas of the knowledge base, you can see, if we scroll down further here, we can see here which content this user has read the most. So you can see this user here, which is myself, is actually responsible for this this surge in traffic for this article. We can see this user's viewed this article 500 and something times there. But if we scroll down even further, this is helpful as well. We'll have customers contact us through support tickets and say, we're having this issue, and often we've covered that with an article, or an article may help them, and we want to link to that article, but we don't know whether they've already saw or read that article. And here, we can just have a look at their profile before we respond. We can see they've read a certain article in the knowledge base, and not suggest that then. So, don't frustrate the user by sending them to content they've already looked at. But yeah, if we scroll down even further, we can see specific activity for this individual user here. So all these grey lines are content that's been read in the knowledge base, and this is for the last 2 months by default. So we can see this user, started off by reading content in the knowledge base, and then has obviously started opening these red ones here are new support tickets. And if we get rid of the red ones, or actually if we get rid of the silvers and get rid of the red, yeah, you can see these are, agent replies to the customer. We can see, what cases were closed for the customer. So yeah, I mean, this is really going to be helpful for you to understand what articles maybe individual users are reading. I appreciate you're not going to be using the ticketing, but yeah, it might.
We're not going to use it at first, but if I can get this vision of what I want to do, excuse me. Obviously, software or technology is great, but if we don't have the right process to support it, then we're not going to be successful. But if I can get there to a certain spot for my team, there may be opportunities for me to show that to the help desk and say, hey, here's the next level we can go to. Yeah. You guys start your cases here, and then there's a continuity with our team where we're actually doing the deeper support. I mean, our help desk does do some support, mostly in the area of Windows and Office. But as far as any application they access, they just route it right to us. They don't even do any troubleshooting or write down any error messages. Like we get the contact name, and then we got to phone the guy up and say, oh, okay, what happened? So if we can kind of bring them on board to something like this, yeah, and it's a little bit politically delicate, so we got to be careful. But I just want to, it just seems for me, it's a better road for me if I can show some real potential for it, and then they might jump on board versus going to them now and saying, yeah, we can be more efficient in your area, and they'll probably go, what?
And the reason we, I mean, the good news is, if you do decide to use that down the road, it's just there with the product. It's no additional purchase. And the reason we did that, there's a lot of companies that offer, say, a knowledge base and a ticketing product. But we wanted to bring the two together to, try and reduce the number of inbound queries. So, because we brought them together, as customers submit a support ticket through the web, we can suggest articles to them from the knowledge base based on the keywords that they're entering into the support ticket. And we do a number of things there. We strip out common keywords. We strip out words shorter than, I think it's 3 letters by default. We remove duplicate terms as well. So hopefully what we're left with, are just really the keywords. Like maybe the user's having an issue. I've lost my account password, for example. All that would be passed into our search there would be lost account password. So we'd suggest, any articles that had lost account and password, below where the customer's submitting the support ticket. And the idea is hopefully, they'll click that and that will answer their question rather than them opening a support ticket. And we don't have this at the moment, but it's coming in a future version. We're going to be introducing deflection reports as well, so you can actually see, if a query was answered before the contact or the user submitted a support ticket through an existing article. We've also added, in the 2016 release recently, we've added a submit a new case or submit a new ticket link to the bottom of articles, and that's going to be coming to the bottom of the search page, or if you don't find any, search results. And then we're going to be providing, some visibility into what route the user took before they opened the support ticket. So you can see maybe they were looking at this article when they opened the support ticket, or they performed a search for these keywords, didn't find any results, and then submitted a support ticket, just so you've got a bit of context into what the user was doing immediately before they opened the support ticket, as well as being able to see which users were deflected by answers that were already there in the knowledge base before they needed to open a ticket. But yeah, we'll always have them integrated together like that. And yeah, it allows us to do things like convert tickets to articles. We have this ability when you're viewing a support ticket, you can just click a button that says convert to article, and it lets you quickly edit the ticket, maybe remove any sensitive information from the ticket. But if you spent maybe an hour or two working through a problem with a customer, it might be helpful to have that in the knowledge base, and rather than creating a new article, which you can do, you could create a new article to detail that, but you could just convert the ticket, do a few edits to remove any sensitive details, and hopefully that will help others in the future then. Yeah, we have trying to think what else I can show you if you're not going to be using the so do you think you'll have a need for workflows and being able to control the process for approval of content before it's live, or do you think you can trust your...
Sorry, were you asking a question there? Or?
Yeah, sorry, I was just wondering whether it's worth showing you what our workflows can do.
Oh, good.
Obviously, again, this is completely optional, but workflows can be applied to any content in the knowledge base. So that's, knowledge base articles, troubleshooter guides, downloads, support tickets. What they allow you to do is basically define a series of steps where, that an article or a ticket must go through before it's, say, published or marked as resolved. And again, it's completely optional, but you can enforce the work.
Probably a good way to ensure that the quality is there. Like, if you have someone that's their job to review all the articles that need to have certain features or descriptions, it might make sure that you don't pollute your knowledge base with articles that aren't too valuable or useful. Yeah,
exactly. And yeah, this can be set up so at each workflow step, you can have articles automatically placed into a certain workflow. Like maybe you don't want the author of the article to be able to publish an article directly to the web. The only way they can publish an article to the website would be maybe to move it to the ready for web or ready for review workflow step. And then what you could do is when articles are placed into that workflow step, you can restrict who can edit the article. You can trigger notifications. So maybe you wanted to send an email to your manager to say, this article is now ready for the web. Would you, please take a look, review. The manager can click a link within that notification. They'll be brought, to the edit article page. They can either, change the workflow step to ready for web, which would then, through another feature we have in workflows called change actions. Whenever articles are placed into a certain workflow step, you can set up change actions as well, which automatically change fields associated with the article. So you could say when an article is placed into the, ready for web workflow step, set the access type to public, so it automatically publishes the article on the website. Or if an article is moved into the, requires revision workflow step, then set the content type, the access type to private, and all of that can be done automatically. You can set the status to maybe low, or the priority to low. You can assign it to certain people automatically depending on the workflow it's placed into. Yeah, if we go into, say, this is a very basic workflow we provide out of the box. We've got an in-draft step, which would be where the original content author works on the content. They leave the content in the in-draft step until they're happy that it's ready for the first review. Once they're happy it's ready for the first review, they can, previously where I was showing you when we were editing the article, we had the title, and then just below that we had the workflow step drop-down list. They could just select, first review from that drop-down list once they're satisfied it's ready. And then if we go in and edit this first review, you'll see what we can do here. So once an article's placed into this first review workflow step, we could say, say Rob H here was our person responsible for, articles in the first review step. We could say only Rob H, and maybe ourselves as an administrator can edit this content. Now it's been placed into this first review, so no longer can the original content author edit this. Now when they go into it, it will say, this, you don't have permission because this content is in a workflow step, and that has restricted permissions. This is helpful just to stop the original author making further changes. Once they've posted it into the first review step, you don't really want them changing it again while you're reviewing the article. You want the workflow to complete, and then at the very end go back into the in-draft, if it still needs work. But yeah, so we can go to change actions here. So again, when an article is placed into this first review, we can say, we want to automatically assign this to, say, Rob H, who we've just sent an email to. We just set the edit restrictions to. So we can say this is automatically assigned to Rob H now. And we have to, here we do have to tick this little checkbox that indicates we want to change this field, because you can reset these back to empty as well. So maybe, once it's moved back into in draft, you didn't want it to be assigned to anyone anymore. You would just set this to an empty value, make sure that checkbox is ticked, and then it would clear, Rob H as being the assigned support agent for this article. But we'll select Rob H for now, just for demonstration purposes, and save this. So whenever an article is placed into this first review now, it's going to be only editable by, sorry, I didn't save this one. Add and save. So it's only going to be editable by myself and Rob. Whoever the original content author was, they're no longer going to be able to edit this. It's automatically going to be assigned to Rob now in the first review. And probably the next step is to trigger a notification to Rob to let him know, he needs to come and review this article now. So under notifications here, we can just select, again, Rob. We don't want Ryan to be notified there. You can add in custom email addresses if, if the user, the only users that will appear here are any users that have been associated with the support agent group or user role that we have built in. And again, you can customize the email here. So if you wanted to send, a custom message to Rob, you could do. But by default, we provide a template here. It just says, the item title, which would be replaced with the article title, has been placed into the following workflow step, and that would say, first review, and then it would have a link to the item for Rob to click. So if we save that, so what we could even do now is we maybe don't want Rob being able to publish this directly to the web. It's got 3 steps here for review, so we want to try and enforce that this article goes through each of those 3 steps. So when articles are in this first review workflow step, we can say only allow Rob to move it to the second review workflow step, or move it back to in draft. So it's not quite ready for the second review yet. The original author needs to do a bit more work, or move it back to in draft. So we'll save that. Now, learning what we've learned so far, we know, if Rob's not happy with the article, it's going to go back into in draft. So what we probably want to do is, when an article is placed into this in draft workflow step, we probably want to notify the author of this article that it's been placed into this in draft, because if Rob rejects it, we want the author to get an email to say, it's been placed back into the in draft. So the way we could do that is just, again, come into the notifications for the in draft workflow step, and we can just select this created by here. So whoever is responsible for creating the article, whenever this article is placed into the in review workflow step, it will trigger an email. So that's an example of the email that would be triggered. We don't want to customize that though, so we'll just leave that for now. And yeah, we'll save that. So when Rob rejects, the article now, the original author will get an email to say it's been moved back into in draft. Now, because we've set that up here as well, if we did the same now for step 2, step 3, and just chose different support agents, each time, it moves along the approval process, say it was rejected at step 3, we could ensure at step 3 the only 2 options, or the only 2 next steps available, would be in draft or publish to web. So when maybe Jane, who's responsible for step 3 approval, rejects and moves it back into in draft, again, this notification here will trigger because the article's been placed into in draft, and the author will get an email to say it's been placed back into in draft. Now, one other thing you can do, which is, it gets a little complicated, this, but at each individual workflow step as well, you can actually present a different form completely. So you could create a form, say, at step 3, or maybe for each of the review steps, that allow the person reviewing the article to provide some extra feedback. So you could add a custom field called, review feedback, for example. And then when an article's in the the first, second, or third review workflow step, you'll see here you can customize. So you'll see custom form. We could select a different form here to display, in only for those 3 workflow steps, which would have a new field called review comments. And that, well, maybe you do it for the in draft as well, because that way at least the original author could see any review comments that were left by the different reviewers. But again, these are completely customizable. Maybe there's only 1 person who's going to be reviewing. Maybe there's 2. You can add your own workflows. You can set up, a different series of steps for each one. You can limit workflows based on department. So maybe you don't want, product A team being able to access product B team's workflows. So you can say, this workflow is only visible to support agents who belong to product A department. Yeah, it gets quite powerful, once you get all of this automation in place, and especially around the support tickets. I think the articles have a fairly simple use case of, usually we see customers using this for content approval, but for support tickets, you could have several different types of workflows, like workflows to track bugs maybe that are reported in software, or track feature suggestions, or just track regular support issues, or maybe even opportunities. Our software can monitor email accounts, it can monitor Facebook and Twitter and pull all of those in as support tickets. So you can even use it as like a basic CRM, where maybe you want to label certain customers as opportunities, certain customers as paid support customers, and then again, based on those labels, you can trigger rules on incoming tickets. But yeah, I don't want to go too much into that because unless you want me to, but
No, I think we're good.
Yes. Yeah, we're good. Thanks.
So yeah, we support custom fields as well. So if there's any fields you want to add into the article forms, one thing we use this for is obviously we're a software company, so for each article we create, we have relates to, and then we have a product drop-down list that we've added called with just the values Instant Forum, InstantKB, and then we have a version drop-down list that we've added. And you can see if we go into the knowledge base, let's call it, for example, my new field. Oh no, sorry, that's the wrong page. We're adding a form there. You can add your own forms as well, and that's just a way, as I say, to customize the visible fields. Maybe you want to set certain fields as required when an article's in a certain workflow step. You can do that through adding multiple different forms. But yeah, let's go into our fields. Knowledge base. So you can see we have a number.
So on your online demo,
Yeah.
there's like a documentation tab, but there's not available on the trial I downloaded. How do you get that to show up?
That's something you can enable for any knowledge base tab. So to do that, let me just check. Let me just check. You're referring to. Sorry. So you're referring to this view here, where it looks a little bit more like traditional, product documentation. Is that right? I'll give that a second.
Are you?
So hopefully it'll catch up on. But you mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is you achieve this layout here just by setting the tab as a documentation tab within the knowledge base. So I'll show you how to do that now. So if we have a look at our regular knowledge base tab here at the moment, we can see we have our. Well, actually, no. Let me start from scratch. Let me. We'll go into the admin control panel and we'll create a new documentation tab. So I've gone into the admin CP, I've clicked tabs, and I'm just going to go to add tab. And we'll call this, I'll make the screen a little bit bigger just so we can see. I'll call this, say, internal documentation. And then the only thing we need to do to get that documentation view is we need to make sure we select knowledge base as a tab type. And then you'll see when we do that, we have this documentation tab option here. So if we enable that, if we click, if we turn that on and then save our tab. So we now have a new tab called internal documentation, which is a documentation tab. Now, if we go back to the front end so we can view that tab. So here's our new internal documentation tab in the top and on the left here because we chose to display it in both the main navigation, on the right, we chose to display it in the main navigation and the navigation on the right. If we click into this now, you'll see we get that same view, but obviously we've got no articles in here at the moment. We've got no content. So the key difference between the documentation view and the regular knowledge base article view is the regular knowledge base view allows you to have multiple categories, multiple articles within a single category. So you'll notice in that view, when you click a category on the left, you see, several different articles on the right. This view works differently in that your articles are actually shown on the left, and you only have one article, so we don't have the idea of categories for this, but you can nest articles, so it works similar. So I mean, probably the best way to show you is if I create an article. So I've just right clicked on the root node there, we'll go to add article, and we'll call this getting started, for example. So now we can edit this article now. So if we click edit, you'll see it's already, it's created the article on the left. It's already pre-populated our title here because, we created that article on the front end. And we could just start fleshing this out. So this is my, getting started guide, for example. Now, again, this is what I mean about, not all of these fields may be necessary, and you may get frustrated by having to select fields that you don't feel you should be having to select every time. So that's where, it may come in handy just to disable some of these fields. But if you notice, if I click OK now, it's not letting me submit the form because, we've not selected this field here, which you may not want to select. So if that was the case, you would just go into the admin control panel. You'd go to manage forms, and then you'll see there's a knowledge base form, and then you could just hide the type field in that form, and then it would disappear from this form here. So you can hide all of these fields if they're not necessary. But yeah, let's save that for now. And if we jump back to the front end, so you'll see, here's our new article. We've popped in some text here. Now, you could add other articles here. So, new article, getting started. Maybe you wanted one called, configuration, administrator, oops, sorry if I can type. Administrator guide. So you could create as many articles as you want there. And again, you can nest these articles. So under the configuration, you could have like, database configuration. But again, each of these are individual articles now, so you don't get a list of articles on the right. You get the option to edit the article. So configuration, here you will, sorry. I won't start typing. I don't want to waste your time. But yeah, you would basically flesh out the articles here. You can add as many categories into this tab as you want. As many articles into this tab. And probably a better way to show this is if we go to our own website. I don't know if you had a look at the documentation tab on our own website, but we use that exact same skin for our own product documentation. So if this is just to show you, with some real world data in there, because it doesn't, it's hard to get a sense when I'm just entering test, data into the demo. So you'll see here, we have a section called installation, and we have, installing Instant Forum. If we click on that, we'll see we get some text. This is the actual contents of the article here, and then this below in this section, these are populated, programmatically based on these child articles. So as we add, new child articles into this installing Instant Forum section, it updates this top level article and includes this little, table of contents. And again, with the documentation tab, similar to a knowledge base tab, you can add attachments, you can add related links, both to other knowledge base articles and to external, articles. You can tag them. The searches across everything, but you can also narrow the search as well. So if we go back to the, you can search here, but if we go back to the front end, sorry, if we go back to our previous example, our demo, sorry, here. So you notice if we do a search for, well actually, let's just do a search for, again, installation. I just want to go to the search page here. You'll notice when we search for installation, it searches across every tab that we've created. So it'll search our knowledge base, our downloads, our internal documentation tab we've just created, any articles in there. But you can also, narrow it down as well. So maybe you only wanted to search, a certain tab. You can do that just by selecting the specific tab here. So maybe you only wanted to search the new internal documentation tab we just created. You could tick that there, and then we could hit search. Now, obviously, we don't have any articles that have the word installation in the text there.
So Ryan, we gotta kind of wrap up because I got another meeting to go to.
Of course, yeah.